I'll never forget the look on my mother's face when my sister Rachel grabbed my laptop at Thanksgiving dinner and showed everyone my bank account balance, $12.4 million. Mom's wine glass slipped from her hand, red Cabernet spreading across the white tablecloth like blood. For 30 years, they'd treated me like I was barely scraping by, and in one moment, everything I'd hidden came crashing down. But let me back up, because this story doesn't start at that disastrous Thanksgiving. It starts when I was 8 years old, the day my parents stopped seeing me as their daughter and started seeing me as a threat. I used to be the only child. Mom would help with homework, Dad took me fishing, and life was normal. Then Rachel was born, 2 months premature, a fragile little thing covered in tubes and wires. The doctors said her immune system was compromised. Our house transformed overnight into a medical facility. Hand sanitizer stations everywhere, industrial-strength bleach in every corner. And me? I became hazardous material. Every sniffle, every cough, every minor cold meant I was shipped off to Grandma's house or Aunt Kelly's. At first, I thought it was an adventure. But kids aren't stupid. Eventually, you realize you're not being protected, you're being removed. Your existence is a threat to the child they actually care about. I tried everything to get their attention back. Perfect grades? Mom barely glanced up from Rachel's appointment calendar. First prize at the science fair? Dad asked if I could store my project in the garage because Rachel was allergic to cardboard dust. I practiced bridge over troubled water on piano for 4 months for the school talent show. Rachel had a 99.1-degree fever that night. Guess who sat alone in the auditorium? Meanwhile, 2 weeks later, the entire extended family showed up to watch Rachel butcher hot cross buns on the flute. By high school, I'd learned the most important lesson of my childhood. No one was coming to save me, so I saved myself. I joined every club, worked double shifts at Carson's Diner, and applied to 15 colleges without telling anyone. When the acceptance letters came, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, all with full rhymes, I hid them in a locked box under my bed. The day I got into University of Michigan with a full scholarship, Rachel made the JV cheerleading team. They took her to Olive Garden. I ate microwave mac and cheese in my room. College was freedom. I threw myself into art history and antiques, spending every free moment learning about authentication and vintage jewelry, skills I'd picked up organizing Grandma's costume jewelry collection as a kid. After graduation, I landed an entry-level job at a high-end auction house in Detroit, cataloging estate sales. That's where everything changed. One day, I was sorting through what everyone assumed was cheap costume jewelry from the Kingston estate, but something caught my eye, an Art Deco brooch that felt too heavy, too intricate. I spent 2 weeks researching, took an online gemology course with my own money, and built an entire presentation for my boss. That costume brooch, it sold for $47,000. Suddenly, I was the go-to person for authentication. I found a piece from a private collection thought lost in World War II. It sold for $238,000. My commission checks grew. Within 2 years, my boss told me I was wasting my talent working for someone else. So I took the leap, emptied my savings, took out a loan against my car, and rented a tiny office above a Chinese restaurant. The first year was terrifying. 4 a.m. panic attacks, calculating how long until I was homeless. But word spread. I had an eye for spotting misidentified pieces. A Victorian brooch collection earned me an $86,000 commission. Private collectors started calling. Within 5 years, I had offices in Detroit, Chicago, and New York. The whole time, my family thought I worked at a dusty antique shop. Sunday dinners were surreal. I'd sit there in my carefully chosen Target discount outfit, actually a $3,000 cashmere sweater, while Rachel bragged about her entry-level marketing job. Mom would introduce me as my other daughter who works with old jewelry or something. I'd just authenticated a $1.2 million Fabergé piece that morning. But here's the thing, I'd also been secretly supporting them. When Aunt Kelly told me they were struggling, I started sending $5,000 monthly to their account. When Rachel needed her MBA funded, I increased it to $7,000. They thought I was starving myself on ramen to help out. Mom would say things like, "Sarah's so sweet, sacrificing everything for family." I never corrected them. Maybe it was pride. Maybe I wanted to see how long they'd keep treating me like a failure while I funded their lives. Rachel used my money for designer bags and vacation photos on Instagram. My parents praised her initiative while assuming I was one step from food stamps. The lies became almost fun, a private joke with myself. I wore a vintage Patek Philippe worth more than Rachel's car, while she showed off her $200 Michael Kors watch. The cognitive dissonance was absurd, but I told myself it didn't matter. I had my company, my success, my life. Then came Thanksgiving. Mom called 2 weeks before, crying about her herniated disc. She couldn't cook for 20 people. I offered to handle everything, hired the high-end catering firm I used for business events. It cost more than my parents thought I earned in 2 months. When Rachel saw the spread, she made snide comments about store-bought stuffing. I just smiled. After dinner, I went to my old bedroom to monitor an auction in Hong Kong, a major authentication contract on the line. I left my laptop open, tabs displaying my accounts and pending deals. Rachel came in without knocking, saw the screen, and her face lit up like Christmas morning. Before I could stop her, she grabbed my laptop and marched into the dining room. "Time to see what kind of important work Sarah's been doing on Thanksgiving," she announced, flipping the screen around. The room went silent. 20 people stared at my authentication software showing current account balance, $12.4 million, pending contract, $485,000, recent transaction, $1.2 million, quarterly profit report, $4.2 million. Rachel's face cycled from shock, confusion, and something close to nausea. Mom started laughing, actually laughing like it was the funniest joke she'd ever heard. "Don't be silly, Sarah works at that little antique shop." I stood up, smoothing my cashmere sweater. "Actually, Mom, I own one of the largest jewelry authentication companies in the country. Those antique shop comments? I authenticate pieces worth millions. That little business you never asked about has offices in 3 cities." The laughter died down. Mom's face went from red to purple. She stood so fast, her chair fell over. "You have millions and you let us struggle?" "Struggle? I send you $7,000 every month. While sitting on millions, your sister has student loans." There it was. Not congratulations, not pride, just rage that I hadn't given them more. Rachel started sobbing about betrayal. Dad called me selfish, and something in me snapped. 30 years of being invisible, dismissed, treated like a burden. I grabbed my laptop and my Hermes bag, the one Mom had called a nice replica, and walked out. Behind me, I heard Mom already planning how to spend my money. My phone exploded. Within an hour, 47 missed calls, 200 plus texts. Rachel posted on Facebook about her millionaire sister hoarding wealth. Extended family I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions about my moral character. Monday morning, they showed up at my office demanding family meetings about trust funds. Mom wanted $2 million for Rachel. Dad wanted a beach house in Florida. I canceled the monthly transfers right there in my lobby. When they refused to leave, I called security. It's been 6 months. I moved to a new house with better security, changed all my numbers, got a lawyer involved when the harassment continued. Rachel's apparently starting her own authentication business now. Good luck with that. The best part? For the first time in my life, I feel free. No more Sunday dinners pretending to be someone I'm not. No more funding Rachel's lifestyle while being treated like a failure. Mom tells everyone they never wanted my money anyway. They're praying for my salvation. Meanwhile, Grandma Marie, the one who taught me to love vintage jewelry, told them, "Good for Sarah. About time someone in this family succeeded on their own terms." She's coming to visit next month. We're cataloging a new collection together. As for Rachel, in her latest Instagram post, she's wearing a Cartier bracelet. It's fake. Just saying.